7 U.S. Democratic presidential candidates are debating again Thursday, presenting themselves to U.S. voters as alternative in the next year's election to President Trump, who was impeached on Wednesday, but unmoved in his quest for a second term in the White House. For more on what to expect from tonight's debate, Associated Press reporter Philip Crowther joins me live from Los Angeles. Philip, welcome back to Africa 54.
Great to be with you.
So how big an impact will the impeachment of Trump have on tonight's debate?
Well, look, it'll be discussed. There is absolutely no doubt about that. And maybe the first thing we should say is that those 7 candidates that we will see on stage tonight here in Los Angeles, and that is a much smaller field than we've seen in the past, they have all come out for the impeachment of President Donald Trump. In fact, they have all applauded the decision by Democrats in the House of Representatives, and they've applauded those 2 final impeachment votes on 2 articles of impeachment last night in the House of Representatives. So all the way from the current frontrunner, former Vice President Joe Biden, to Bernie Sanders, Senator from Vermont, Elizabeth Warren, the Senator from Massachusetts, Pete Buttigieg, the mayor of South Bend, all of them are for the impeachment of the president. Also, you will see on stage one gentleman, a billionaire, Tom Steyer, who actually made himself pretty famous in political circles by calling for the impeachment of Donald Trump very, very early on. Now, despite the fact that you will see that unity on stage from Democratic presidential candidates, you will also see them probably wanting to move on to other things, because remember that a lot of the oxygen has been pulled out of this political debate over the last few weeks and months. It's the impeachment that has dominated the headlines, and we've almost forgotten about these many Democratic presidential candidates that are still out there, and 7 of which who will be on stage here in Los Angeles a little bit later today.
Well, Philip, right on. 7 now. We had more than 20 just a few months ago. Are the Democrats inching closer to getting a nominee?
Yeah, we're getting that little bit closer. The first voting contest, the Iowa caucuses, they're just 50 days away now. And you might remember just a few months ago, we were talking together from other areas of the United States. Detroit, for example, where there were 2 debates, one after another, 2 nights in a row, 10 candidates on stage each night. That is how many candidates were able to qualify for that debate back in the day. Now we're just down to 7. That doesn't mean, by the way, that only 7 candidates remain in the race. There are plenty more. They simply did not get enough in the polling averages, and they weren't able to fundraise enough to be able to get on this stage. So you're going to see a much smaller field this time around. Some big candidates who we thought might have stayed in this race a little bit longer, the likes of Senator Kamala Harris from her home state of California. She dropped out of the race and won't be on stage here tonight, which, by the way, has led to quite a bit of criticism of this Democratic field that you'll see on stage tonight. It won't be as diverse as some of those groups of candidates that you've seen over the last few months. Only Andrew Yang, the businessman, is an Asian American, and otherwise it's an all-white Democratic presidential field. That is very different to what we saw at the very start of this Democratic presidential race, with the most diverse field there has ever been.
Now, Philip, hopefully tomorrow you give us another update and tell us what people in California, especially the voters there, want to hear and what they really expect, aside from all the politicking we're seeing. Philip, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Philip Crowther is an international reporter with the Associated Press Global Media Services.